dag alla och välkomna till Balkan Film Festival. Jag vet att många kanske inte förstår svenska, men jag börjar lite med svenska och sen går jag över till engelska. Och kanske lite språk från Balkan, bara att vi känner av smak av språket. I will not continue in Swedish since we have guests here. My name is Jelena Mila, and one who is responder, somebody who started this project, which is showing Balkan movies in Sweden. Actually, we start with a fiction. Some of you, but not the same students actually, were in Kungsängen for last year. But generation change, which is good. But we are continuing collaboration with Upplandsbro Gymnasium High School, which has also aesthetic direction. But we always have new guests with us, and especially new movies. This time, since we are in 2018, focus will be some kind of things that happened on Balkan, and something which was very present during this year in Balkan lands among the Balkan people is actually finishing or the end of the First World War, which is not so present in Sweden. People are not talking so much about it, but somehow we can say that, and you probably learn in school, that start on Balkan with this Gavrilo principle. And somehow Balkan is always a place where things happen, which we can be happy sometimes, but it could be sometimes very sad. And just this type of histories or stories, documentary movies catch probably best. And it is very important to hear history from a few resources. You know that if we get just one resource, especially in documentary, facta, meaning probably could be seen as one way of thinking. But as soon as we see a few of them, especially from people that are coming from that areas which are we talking about, it will not be easier to understand, but anyhow you will have at least wider perspective to see for some truth that we think that we know. That's the part of this festival, but something which is very important for us today, and we'll have more time to speak about that, is that we collaborate with some institutions. Among the first is Swedish Institute, which is doing a lot, and Asta is here to present that. But I must just mention Swedish Film Institutes, Stockholm Stad, ABF, some more institutions very important here that are collaborating with us. Asta, please present a little bit the place where we are.
I can do it in different ways, but I think I will say something about what we do at SC, and actually I can't say everything because we're doing so much to say I don't know. I know my part and I know a little bit of other things, but they are happening so much here, and we are around 100 people here, and then we have colleagues in Paris who is also working with Swedish Institute, but they are situated in Paris. It's not because we think Paris is the best place to have an office, because we should not have an office, but they have been there for many years, and they have actually been under the government, Utrikesdepartementet, foreign ministry, but then they don't want to have this as an office for them, so they say, you take them. So they bring us, they come to us, because we work a little bit in the same areas. And I work with films, and more, and other things also, but in films I work with Jelena, and we work together with gender equality films.
Here, because here is a
yes, your program. Yes, and but we also do other things. We have, I can actually say that the issue why we are here is because we want to promote Sweden abroad. So our partners is other organizations in Sweden, but mostly I would say it is Swedish embassies abroad. So if you go to a Swedish embassy in other countries, they probably have some kind of our publications where we tell them some kind of story about Sweden. And sometimes we have booklets and fact sheets, as we call them, and sometimes we have a photo exhibition. like this. We have this photo exhibition, it's called Gender Equality, and it's people who are working with gender equality issues in different countries. So we don't have, these are not from Sweden, but they are all around the countries, and they tell their story. So this is a photo exhibition that the Swedish embassies in Nairobi can show, and show that we promote gender equality issues together with Nairobian organizations and NGOs and that kind of thing. But if you want to know more about us, I would say look at our website, sc.se, because there you can read what we do. We have scholarship, and we have doctors, and we have master programs coming here, people, and sending Swedes out to also study different kind of scholarships. So we have different kind of collaborations. So we have the money, but we need other people to do things together with us. So that's what we can say. Yes. And I want to show a little bit some of our booklets. We have had a photo exhibition about migration, but because migration was a big issue about what have Sweden done, how is the things going on now when we have so much migration coming to Sweden. So we have done a photo exhibition about it. We have talking about what had happened
expiring, but
the climate change. Okay. So we have people that have drawing pictures from different kind of countries, and they're showing their climate issues during their illustrations and pictures. So this is we don't, when we go abroad, we don't want to say Sweden is best. We want to say we do it this way in our country, and if you see something in this that you can take to your country, it's good. But we can also always take something from your country to us, so we can do things better, think otherwise, and be in some kind of world collaboration with other countries.
as for example, Balkan Film Festival.
Yes, we can say so much. The time is not for me,
Yes.
but we are here today
because of movies that we will screen, but we will also have possibility, since we have excellent public here, to meet the director that made these movies. And we start with movies, and then after a few of them, we will present even our guest for today. And we are starting. Den här filmen var lite vald för att just det var också en filmskola som gjorde den. Och den vann Sarajevo filmfestival, men nu pratar vi östra Sarajevo. För att den är gjord på ett särskilt sätt tycker vi, och också, eller tyckte juryn då, och jag höll med. And I can go over to English. This movie was actually the winning movie in the East Sarajevo Film Festival, which I saw in November. And it was student film, which jury thought, and I was also impressed the possibility how young people have make some kind of mass scenes, like massive, with a lot of statists, with real nuclear war and their own, how can I say, imagination or ideas about that. The first movie was made, and it is from Holland. The first movie is from Macedonia, and it's also one very famous actor actually from, I can say, former Yugoslav actor Meto Jovanovski. And it's a little bit easy story without words, but telling quite a lot. Before we go to the next movie, I would like to represent people who are here and our guests. Some of them we will meet here in front of this screen place when they represent their movies. But I would like to represent even people who are will not screen today, but will screen tomorrow their movies. And I'm starting with them. Milos Skundrich, yes, I know that. Please come out. Milos Skundrich directed that he made, actually, I can say, one huge movie about, how can I say, history.
About the origins of the First World War. It's not a movie about the war, but it is a movie of how the war ever came about.
Mm-hmm. because for us, since we are coming from, he is also from Serbia, I'm from Serbia, and it's easy to speak from Serbian perspective. But that's what I think actually what he reached, it's one objective vision of that, as long as one person can. But he really put the whole perspective from outside in, not from inside out. It used to be a story that we know and then go out. But you did quite huge research to come for this movie. How long did you work with that?
Well, initially it took maybe a couple of months, but before I started shooting, because I wanted to get those people in front of camera as soon as I possibly could. We have the best historians from all over Europe in this film, and I managed to get them somehow into a very tight schedule, which was unbelievable for me, even for them to say yes to my inquiries and calls. And so I went to England and shot 6 of them within 5 days or something. And then I went to France, to Germany, to Russia, to Austria, and finally we ended up shooting in Belgrade with a Serbian historian. There's only one historian from Serbia. So I wanted to have this broader perspective with all the historians from all those countries, which are very important for understanding of the coming of the Great War, because this was the first huge collision on a grand scale, on a grand scale between civilizations.
Yeah, and it was not an easy task, you know, when you're supposed to take this, how can I say, around world perspective.
So to answer your question, I initially shot most of them, and then I did some research, which is maybe not the proper
way
method to do that, but it was the only way possible. So.
Okay, because I was impressed with this idea that to catch as many as possible perspectives watching one of the same story development, and it is not easy from director perspective or screenwriter perspective to get some regular drama story somehow.
Yeah, to answer once again, had I done the research previously, I would never have,
conversation with these guys.
I mean, I would never go shooting, because it was an impossible task.
Yeah.
To put some 40 years of European history into one single film. I mean, you can do this in literature, in TV series as well, but to make it one story out of all of this, and to make it viewable, watchable to people, it was very difficult. So the biggest reward is that the audience stays up until the end of the film itself, and they don't go out.
Actually, I was sitting in jury when we screened this movie, and you got actually prize because you really get huge somehow idea to put inside of the movie, and it was one Mission Impossible, which you've done.
Hope so.
Please stay here. One next is.
The title of the film is The Long Road to War.
And it's tomorrow at 7 o'clock, ABF.
One question.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in how did you distribute this film?
Well, it's still not very much into distribution. I mean, it's on film festivals. It was screened last month in Serbia on national TV, and we're hoping to get maybe a Netflix or something.
At what hour on the television?
It was prime time. It was
Prime time.
It was on Saturday, 10th of November, which was one day before the Armistice Day.
Yeah.
The Armistice Day, and 100 years since the end of the First World War. It was 9 p.m.
I hope
first channel.
that you can show it in Sweden.
Well,
Because
we
I
can try,
think
yeah.
Nobody knows this story.
Yes.
But
I mean,
it's
the
Sweden.
issue, we still have the issue because it utilizes a whole lot of film archives from all over Europe. Those archive film footage, from 100 years ago or so. So it's still the matter of rights, to purchase world rights to exploit the film worldwide. So.
next guest is director from Ukraine, Olga. I'm very bad with the surname, as you understand, but I will check now. Olga Lazebnik, please come. Olga Lazebnik is something which is supported a lot, and it's a woman filmmaker. She's, yeah, it is a little bit important to be, at least for us, because we are doing a lot of to some kind of support. But she's also taking one tough subject, and it is bombing in 1999 in former, in that time, Yugoslavia, Serbia and Montenegro. And next year is 20 years since that. And Olga was there and made a movie about that. It will be screened tomorrow at 6 o'clock at ABF. Olga, what can you say about visiting Belgrade and making this history 20 years or 15 years later?
This movie was made, first of all, for Ukrainian people, because most of them
don't know nothing, yes.
It's not our history, that's why it was important. And our big chief, my boss, she was a journalist that time.
She,
yes. It's a tough woman, you know, and we were inspired by her memories, and she sent us. It was great.
Okay.
Visiting Kosovo, visiting Serbia, Montenegro.
This, what was interesting for us, is to see somehow history of the Balkans screened or shown from outside, how it looks like when people are watching from outside, actually what happened with Balkans. Because as long as I know, we didn't have some kind of this kind of movie in our heritage from Balkan made in this level. And please come and see it. The guest that we will actually meet later, but you are welcome to come out, is Alexander Vujovic from Montenegro. His movie is short movie, yeah, absolutely. And this movie will be screened after the pause. And the movie that will next be with us, it's Alexander Relic. Your names go a little bit easier. Relja. This is the movie about, with everyone, just keep your eyes. Movie is about Auschwitz.
Yes. It's about Auschwitz commander's grandson and a Holocaust survivor who actually symbolically adopted him as her own grandson. So we have a grandson of the most notorious war criminal in the mankind history, and a Holocaust survivor who actually survived the Mengele's experiments. And 70 years later, she's actually symbolically adopted him, and they made a pledge to fight together against neo-Nazism, anti-Semitism, racism, xenophobia in today's world.
We will speak more about that, but I can just say, when I heard about Auschwitz, I said, no, one of many movies about, you know, probably because this subject is quite used in movies, in documentaries, from different stories, different perspectives. We have our guest. Please open him. But when I saw this movie, I said, well, this history I didn't saw before, and that's why this movie is here. We have one more guest. He's just arriving. Milan, please come. It's history about, we must say, we are very upset about that, but it's history again about war, and it is 90. Milan Petkovic, please come in the light. Because he take a huge journey going to the ABF today, not tomorrow, and now he's back to Slottsbacken 10. Welcome to Swedish Institute. And his movie will be screened tomorrow at ABF. It is about Nazis' war there, and is it something important just for this public audience to say? Short. Želiš nešto da kažeš sada ili?
Ne bih ništa sad ću neku bolju priliku. Nahodao sam se.
Okay. He was walking a lot and he will wait for the next time when his movie will be screened tomorrow at 4 o'clock at ABF. And two more person are a little bit important for us, or a lot important at least for this person, is jury. I'm asking first Olgica Lindqvist to come out with us. Woman that helps us a lot, one who knows a movie from this theoretical part, also having was involved in few of the movies, I can say, and working as a journalist. Olgica, say hello to the audience and to guests.
It's so nice to see so many young people here, first to say. And the second, I understand that we have a very short time,
Yeah.
and we had just a question for Milos. But when you said that the Olga she described how somebody from another side of the border, Yugoslavia, how they see or what happened in Belgrade. I was just thinking that it was so amazing that I don't have the same feeling. I had a feeling that it was just the way
It was.
it was.
Well, yes. But
And
okay.
yeah, so I have another questions too, but maybe
Next.
time is short.
It's just yes. And Håkan Pianowski, filmmaker from Sweden, actually. A little bit, please come.
Well,
Just to say hello to this wonderful audience, because in the future we will see more of them. I hope so.
I have nothing to say.
Movies will tell a lot.
Yeah.
But you can see his films as well, documentaries. Is it still possible to get them somewhere?
Yeah, I think one was about Auschwitz also, about a 94-year-old woman. She's quite famous in Sweden. She was also in Auschwitz. It's called.
It was just
She's
a
called
couple of months ago.
Hedi Fri. My worry. It's a very very simple construction, but I think it was on SVT Play.
Yes.
Just,
But is it still there? You know?
I don't know. It has been there for a year. I don't know.
And one more person which we must give some special, it's Teresa from that actually organized this wonderful public for us today. Teresa, just say something.
Hello, nice to see you.
Okay. Then we are starting with the screening of one next movie, which is Enkel, which means
The grandson.
grandson. Also,
In German.
and then we will take a conversation with the director. Thank you. I would like to call director, author of this movie, Alexander Rejic, to come out and get one more. Well, we see the movie. Should we leave a question first, or is it something that you would like to say before they ask?
I like to say that it's a big honor here in the Swedish Institute to show this film, especially for young people, because it is really an idea to show this film.
Do you hear
To
me?
show this film in schools and universities and everything. So first time we showed it to younger people was in my hometown in Novi Sad, north of Serbia, where we shown this film in the gallery of Matice Srpske. It's like a national museum of Serbian cultural heritage. So first time it was the grandson of Auschwitz commander came to Serbia, and we organized this screening in front of students and high school pupils. And they had this opportunity also to talk with him on all these issues and of course the situation in the today's world. Yeah. And we had also a couple of screenings all around the region, also for young people, and we were around with the festival. So it's actually a new film. It was premiered in March this year, so I think it will live more.
As I saw in the movie, you have a Swedish people in one clip, I mean in one part. How did you get them?
Actually, it was the students from Sweden in the scene where they are talking in front of the Auschwitz-Birkenau Tower. It was organized, the visit of the organization, Swedish organization Here for You. So they organized the trip to Auschwitz, and also a meeting with Rainer Höss, because actually Rainer was very active in collaboration with this organization in Sweden, and he was also very active, I think, in some of yours GeoTV campaigns in Sweden. So like Get Out to Vote and things like that, and he was actually involved in a kind of struggle with against the right-wingers in Sweden. So that's why we had that scene.
Some questions? You don't need to ask, but I have questions. For me, when I saw the movie, it was very interesting. How did you reach this history? Because, and why you, who is from Serbia, catch this guy who is very special, and to get hold this history, which is actually it's not belongs to anyone, it belongs to the world, because people which were suffering, which were dying there, was from around the world. It was mostly Jewish people, as I understand, Serbian people, Rome's people.
Most Serbian Jews were killed in Serbia.
Okay.
The fact that in Serbia and Croatia and you know, in former Yugoslavia, the Yugoslavian Jews were actually from 65,000, there were like 45,000 killed in former Yugoslavia, and 20,000 ended up in Auschwitz. So it was almost like 20,000 Yugoslavian Jews who were killed in Auschwitz, but from that number, more than 10,000 were killed from Vojvodina, from Bačka. It's the region where I come from. It's the northern part of Serbia. So in 1944, it was actually occupied by Hungarians, and in 1944, when Eichmann came to do the final solution, the Hungarian solution, he also deported Jews from Vojvodina as a part of Hungarian solution to Auschwitz. So more than 10,000 were killed there. Actually, how the question was how I
Come to the story.
yeah, how I was involved in this story. I worked on a documentary called Auschwitz: The Yugoslav Remembrance. It was for me very, how to say, very important